Well, as European countries start to ease lockdown measures, many are wondering when Europeans will be able to start travelling around the continent again and when non-Europeans might be able to come back and visit. Well, we're set to get some answers this Friday. Ministers of the 27 EU member states are holding a video summit. The issue of when and how to reopen internal EU borders is vital to the continent's economy, with tourism responsible for 10% of the EU's economic output. Our Europe editor, Catherine Nicholson, is here to tell us a bit more. And Catherine, what are we hearing about how soon the borders around the EU could be opened?
It could be pretty soon, comparatively. The end of June is what we're hearing from the European Commission. We had the Home Affairs Commissioner, Ylva Johansson, talking yesterday ahead of this meeting, saying that, she really hopes that at the end of June, all the internal EU borders, at least, will be lifted again. So, as you said, a lot at stake for the continent's travel and tourism industries. In some countries like Greece, the reliance on tourism is even higher than the EU average. It's 18% of Greece's GDP. So we're hearing from the Commission that that's what they want. Of course, what member states actually do is a different thing, because the EU as a body is not in charge of this. It's up to each member state what it does with its borders. So things are opening up a little already. Just a bit of a recap. Obviously, this week we already had Italy letting Europeans in from other European countries, not from third countries like America or wherever. Austria opened all borders yesterday, except for Italy, saying that the infection rate's too high there. And the Czech Republic today opening 3 of its borders at lunchtime. So June the 15th is set to be quite a big date as well. Greece is going to open up its 2 biggest airports, Athens and Thessaloniki. France and Germany are opening up their EU borders, and the Netherlands as well on the 15th of June, except it is making exceptions for Sweden and for the UK, where there are higher infection rates and death rates currently.
All right, so that's what's happening inside the EU. What about travel to and from non-EU countries?
Well, that is definitely going to happen later on, and we really don't have firm dates on that yet. It is quite a bit more complicated. The European Commission says that it will make some announcements on 15th of June about what it wants to happen in terms of travel from outside of the Schengen zone. So that's most of the EU members, plus Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway and Switzerland. So what we're thinking at the moment is that the infection rates in specific countries is likely to come into what the policy ends up being. I mentioned the UK before, obviously no longer an EU member, but in this transition phase, so it is getting some special treatment at the moment. The UK is actually planning to impose this 14-day quarantine on all foreign arrivals from Monday, the 8th of June. That is being challenged, legal action being considered by British Airways, which says it's going to make it very difficult to operate at all in July. And the company's obviously already looking at laying off about 12,000 of its staff. Portugal is one of the countries that is talking about having special arrangements with the UK. It's talking about some kind of an air bridge that would mean there's no quarantine for UK passengers travelling to and from Portugal, also Portuguese people going on holiday. We were thinking that there could be a special exemption for French travellers to the UK, but the Foreign Ministry has now said that there are no talks underway about that at this stage. So it is looking like from July the 1st onwards, things could be opening up for non-EU member states coming back into the bloc. But if the UK is continuing with this quarantine, then actually the UK could end up being excluded.
All right, Catherine, thank you very much for clearing that up for us.